This is Dr. Marcus Calder from the Emergency Coordination Center. Please listen closely and follow these instructions. This is not a drill. If your dog starts barking in reverse, leave the room immediately. I've been broadcasting warnings for 17 days now, and I need you to understand something. What we're dealing with has moved beyond anything I documented in 2007. The animals aren't just infected anymore, they're being called home, and time itself is bending around their voices. 3 hours ago, Colonel Mitchell recommended full civilian evacuation from all quarantine zones. We've lost control of the situation. The reports started filtering in yesterday morning around 4:30 a.m. Emergency dispatch in Clear Creek received the first call from Rosa Garcia, whose 8-year-old Maine Coon had been exhibiting the wall laughter symptoms for 6 days. Rosa called in tears, saying Princess was barking like a dog, but the sounds were coming out backwards. Not just reversed audio, you understand? The animal was somehow producing vocalizations that arrived before they left her throat. When Rosa played me the recording 40 minutes ago, I heard my own voice echoing from 3 hours in the future, warning about something called Operation Homecoming. I haven't issued any warning about Operation Homecoming. I don't know what Operation Homecoming is. The second incident occurred at Quarantine Facility Beta at 6:15 a.m. Technician Mike Torres had been monitoring the overnight behavior logs when every animal in the facility began producing what he described as time loop growls. The security footage shows the animals opening their mouths, but the sounds emerge from the speakers 30 seconds before their jaws move. Mike called Dr. Reeves in Building C, but Jennifer's been missing since the overnight raid. The audio equipment registered sound waves traveling backwards through the ventilation system. Mike evacuated at 6:47 a.m. The facility is now empty except for 63 animals producing warnings about events that haven't happened yet. Let me be absolutely clear about what we're seeing across all affected zones. The reverse vocalizations aren't random. They're coherent warnings delivered in temporal reverse order. A family in Millbrook County reported their golden retriever barking a countdown that ended yesterday morning, but started 3 days from now. Another household documented their cat meowing the phrase, "They're almost home," continuously for 6 hours, but each repetition arrived 17 minutes before the previous one. The animals are experiencing time differently now, and they're trying to warn us about something that's already happened in their timeline. Dr. Patricia Wong managed to get one final transmission from Facility Gamma before we lost contact. She said the animals were all facing southeast and producing harmonized reverse barking that created standing wave patterns in the air. Quote, Dr. Calder, they're not making sounds anymore, they're unmaking them. The acoustic patterns are subtracting silence from reality. That transmission came in at 9:22 a.m. The timestamp on her workstation showed 3:47 p.m. tomorrow. Patricia's been missing for 14 hours now, but her equipment is still receiving her own voice explaining procedures she hasn't performed yet. The Yamamoto family in Pine Valley called in their final report around noon. Their Shiba Inu Mochi had been coordinating with other dogs since last week, but now the coordination was happening in reverse sequence. Kenji described watching Mochi respond to commands from other dogs before those dogs barked them. The family tried to leave their house at 12:30 p.m., but Mochi began producing what Kenji called future barks, vocalizations that described the family's actions 20 minutes before they performed them. Their neighbor found the house empty at 3 p.m., but the reverse barking continued from the basement until 4:15 p.m. There were no animals in the basement. The sounds were coming from tomorrow. Later that afternoon, Agent Cross attempted to coordinate a facility raid with military backup from Colonel Mitchell's unit. David's last transmission came through at 5:40 p.m., but the timestamp corruption means we're not sure when he actually sent it. The audio contains David describing the raid in reverse order, starting with screaming and ending with confident mission briefing. Between the reverse timeline and the interference, we can't determine if the mission succeeded, failed, or is still happening. Colonel Mitchell's response team reached the coordinates at 6:15 p.m. and found only David's radio. broadcasting his own voice reporting mission success from what the timestamp indicated was next Tuesday. The most disturbing case came from a family outside Clear Creek whose name I'm not authorized to release. Their rescue mutt began barking in perfect reverse chronological order, starting with high-pitched panic barks and gradually descending to calm whoops. But the emotional content was inverted. The panic barks sounded peaceful, and the calm whoops carried absolute terror. The family recorded 18 minutes of this before their daughter realized the dog was predicting their conversation backwards. Every bark corresponded to something they were about to say, but delivered in reverse order and reverse emotional context. The father said it was like watching their future selves having a conversation about something terrible, but only hearing their dog's emotional responses to words they hadn't spoken yet. Based on my analysis of 17 years of research and 4 days of temporal audio distortion, we've identified 3 distinct stages of reverse vocalization behavior. Stage 1 begins with simple temporal displacement, your pet's barks or meows arriving fractionally before they open their mouth. This creates an echo effect where you hear the sound in stereo. Your pet appears to be responding to their own future vocalizations. This stage typically lasts between 30 minutes and 3 hours. Stage 2 involves coherent reverse communication. Your pet will begin producing vocalizations that correspond to future events in your household. They might bark about dinner before you've started cooking, or meow about visitors before anyone arrives. The emotional content of these vocalizations will be inverted. They'll sound happy when warning about danger, and distressed when predicting positive events. During Stage 2, which can last anywhere from 6 hours to 2 days, your pet is experiencing your shared timeline in reverse order. Stage 3 is full temporal severance. Your pet begins producing vocalizations from multiple timeline segments simultaneously. You'll hear past, present, and future barks overlapping in impossible harmonies. Their physical body exists in your current moment, but their vocal expressions are scattered across weeks or months of subjective time. Dr. Wong's final notes suggested the animals achieve complete temporal omniscience during Stage 3. They can predict and respond to events that exist in probability space rather than actual occurrence. This is the stage where the reverse barking begins to affect local reality instead of just reflecting it. If you observe any reverse vocalization behavior from your pet, you must immediately leave the room without saying anything. The temporal audio distortion can create causality loops where your response to future barks influences past barks, trapping you in recursive conversation with tomorrow's version of your pet. Do not attempt to record the phenomenon. Electronic equipment amplifies the temporal displacement and can trap you in audio time loops lasting hours or days. Move to a room with no shared walls or ventilation with your pet's location. The reverse barking can propagate through building infrastructure and affect anyone within acoustic range. Close all doors between yourself and the affected animal. Do not attempt rescue or comfort. Your pet is experiencing temporal separation, and your presence creates additional timeline stress that worsens their condition. If you hear your own voice among the reverse vocalizations, evacuate the building immediately. This indicates you've become temporally synchronized with your pet's displaced timeline. Extended exposure can cause permanent chronological displacement in humans. Do not attempt to respond to or correct anything you hear your future self saying. Contact emergency services from outside the building and report temporal audio contamination. Under no circumstances should you approach other households reporting similar phenomena. The reverse barking creates interference patterns when multiple affected animals are in proximity. Colonel Mitchell's reconnaissance team documented harmonized reverse barking from 6 different houses on Maple Street, creating a standing wave that trapped emergency responders in a 30-minute causality loop. The responders experienced the same rescue attempt 47 times before the audio interference subsided. I need to tell you something about the broader situation. The quarantine facilities we've maintained since 2007 are being systematically breached by coordinated human assault teams. These aren't normal people. They move wrong, and they understand how to manipulate the temporal audio distortions to their advantage. Agent Cross's final transmission before we lost contact contained reversed audio of his own voice describing military tactics that haven't been developed yet. The assault teams appear to be using the infected animal's temporal displacement to coordinate attacks across multiple time streams simultaneously. They breach facilities in the present, while their actions are predicted and countered by security responses that haven't happened yet. Colonel Mitchell reported engagement with hostiles who were responding to his tactical decisions before he made them. The quarantine system wasn't just designed to contain infected animals. It was built to prevent exactly this type of coordinated reclamation effort. Every facility from Alpha through Gamma has been compromised or evacuated. Dr. Reeves, Dr. Wong, Technician Torres, and 18 other staff members remain unaccounted for. The assault teams appear specifically interested in recovering animals that were quarantined from the 2007 incident, but they're also claiming newly infected pets that match specific behavioral profiles. We believe they're completing some kind of collection protocol that was interrupted 17 years ago. The reverse barking phenomenon serves as both communication system and temporal manipulation tool for the assault teams. They can coordinate across past and future time streams to ensure mission success regardless of our defensive measures. This is why I'm recommending immediate civilian evacuation from all quarantine zones. We cannot protect you from opponents who attack from multiple points in time simultaneously. I've been wrong about everything. The 2007 events weren't contained. The quarantine system wasn't protection. It was bait. The government didn't save those animals. We were keeping them fresh until the real harvest began. And now that harvest is happening 17 years ahead of schedule, with capabilities that defy everything I understand about linear time and animal behavior. The reverse barking isn't a symptom of infection. It's the sound of time breaking down around something that should never have been delayed this long. Something called them in 2007, and we interfered. Now it's calling them home with interest, and the debt includes anyone who tried to prevent the original collection. This message will repeat every 15 minutes on all emergency frequencies until central communication is severed. If you stop hearing these broadcasts, assume Operation Homecoming has reached your area. The silence will tell you everything you need to know. Stay away from your pets. Stay away from your neighbor's pets. Stay away from anywhere you hear barking that arrives before the bark begins. God help us all.